Hey everyone, it's Mark at intomobile.com, and today we're taking a look at the HP Veer 4G for AT&T. Now this is an extremely tiny device. You might have already seen that in our unboxing video, but this is an incredibly small smartphone. It's a webOS device, so it's been a while since we've seen a webOS device, and this is branded HP here, because HP purchased Palm, so future devices are probably going to be branded with HP. Although I think it's kind of weird that the accessories still say Palm. There's the little charger here. At any rate, it is a webOS device. It's got 2.6-inch touchscreen. On the left side here we have a volume rocker. We've got the charging port there, the on-off switch, a silent switch so you can change it from silent to vibrate, vibrate and silent to sound. On the back we have a 5-megapixel camera and a speaker. The speaker is actually quite good. It's very, very loud. At the high end it could get a little muffled, but it's incredibly loud for such a tiny little phone. The camera, on the other hand, doesn't take the greatest photos or video, so it's definitely not going to replace your point and shoot. Whereas with cameras like the ones on the iPhone or the Infuse 4G, they're perfectly good for taking photos and video. Actually, as a size comparison, here's the iPhone next to the Veer. Try to get that all in the shot. As you can see, the Veer is incredibly small. And although it is small, it's still kind of thick. It's about as thick or even thicker than the iPhone, even with the little case on it. And even bigger still is the Infuse, which you've got here. There's the Infuse, and next to the Veer, you can really see how small it is. I mean, this thing is incredibly tiny. So when you slide this thing open, it powers on. So here we see webOS, and it's got a tiny little keyboard. If you've got big hands like me and bigger thumbs, the keyboard is a little, it's not very comfortable. There is enough space in between each key, and the keys are bubbly enough that they feel kind of like there's a point to every single one of them, so that you know exactly where you're typing. You're not going to miss anything, and it's got good tactile feel. So HP really did the best they could with this keyboard, given its incredibly small size. So here we're looking at the tiny little 2.6-inch capacitive touchscreen, and it is running webOS, and I love webOS. I think it's great at multitasking. So it uses cards, the card system. If you're unfamiliar with it, you just fire open applications, and each app is opened in a card. So let's say I open up music. You can get back to the home screen and switch applications here like this, and whenever you're done with an application, you just flick it away to close it, just like that. Super easy. Whenever you're within an app, if you want to open up your dock, the customizable dock where you can put any applications you want in, and in any order, you just start from the bezel here and you swipe upward, and there you go. You can get into the phone if you want to, just like that. So this is also a sensitive touch area here. You can press it once to get to your cards, and when you're within an application, let's open up the web browser. And we'll go to HP's site here. It's taking quite a while. because the screen is so small, so the browser's not really the greatest experience web browsing on this device because it's so small. So you're going to get used to double tapping and pinching the zoom a lot because the screen is just, I mean, it's just so tiny. So looks like it's kind of taking a while here. There we go. And now say we want to go to, I don't know, into mobile. See, it wasn't so bad typing that out, even though the keyboard is much smaller than I'd like. But just look at how, I think it gets a little blurry there, but just look at how incredibly small the text is. It's unbelievable. It's almost, for some of the smaller text, it's virtually impossible to read until you double tap to expand, or you can pinch to zoom in or zoom out. It could get a little cumbersome for some people to browse on such a tiny screen, but it'll make do, especially if you're not browsing a whole lot. But the area here is touch sensitive, so if you want to go back, you just swipe back. There we go, it's going back to the Palm homepage. So we'll get rid of that card. And you do have access to the webOS app catalog. So here I've downloaded Angry Birds. But again, because the screen is so small, the experience is just a bit awkward. I found it pretty difficult to play this game because the screen is so tiny. I don't know if you can tell, but the sound is pretty good. That's very loud, and that's coming from this tiny little speaker here. There's a reflective face there. So here we go. Alright, that's all fine and dandy. Just, I don't know if you can get an idea of just how small that is, but see, when you look at it in full view here, it's almost like you would need a stylus of some sort to get any real accuracy there. It's not bad, it's just, for me, it's not ideal. A lot of people are going to like this phone because of its size and how compact it is, and a lot of people might hate it. I handed it to my girlfriend yesterday, who just switched to an iPhone recently from BlackBerry, and I think the first thing she said when she had this thing in her hands was, why would I want this? Or why would I want a phone like this? And that's really the question you have to ask yourself is, why do you want this? For me, it's you know, the only real upside to this is the size, if you can even consider it an upside. I mean, it's small. It'll fit into just about any pocket. You don't really notice it when you're in your pocket, when it's in your pockets, and it's pretty lightweight. So that's really one of the things you have to consider is whether you're willing to sacrifice screen real estate to have a compact device. Another thing I really don't like about this phone is the power adapter here. Now, because it is this particular power adapter, you need to use Palm's proprietary cable. And it's magnetic, so it fits in just like that. You plug this into the little charging brick here, and it charges. It works just fine. And the battery, it's a 910 milliamp battery, but it actually lasts all day long. It's amazing. So it is a little bit annoying because you could be out and about, and instead of using a micro USB like everyone else is using, you'll be out of luck if you don't have this thing with you when you're out traveling, or if you forget it at home, or whatever. Another thing is that if you've noticed, as we looked around, there is no headset jack. There's no 3.5 millimeter headset jack. That's because HP decided to use an accessory for that. Here it is. It's very, very tiny, and it also connects magnetically to the side there. So as you can see, it's not very. It doesn't seem like a very elegant solution, which is a little uncharacteristic of the Palm devices. I mean, again, this is HP now, but it just seems weird. And if you take a look at that, there's that gap there in the middle, so attention to detail was not paid. And this thing is so small that I can only imagine what it'd be like keeping track of it in my pockets, or if you have it in a purse or a backpack. You're bound to lose this thing. And because it is magnetic and it sticks here, if the slightest tug and when your headphones are plugged in, it's going to come right off. So that could be very annoying. Also, the downside is if you're charging this thing and you want to listen to music at the same time, you can't, unless you have it on the Touchstone dock, which you'd have to pay extra for. But that is an accessory that's compatible with this, the Touchstone. So yeah, this thing, I don't get it. I really don't. Otherwise, there's not a whole lot else to say about this device. It's, we'll wait for webOS 3.0 and see if that makes it any more likable. Otherwise, for $99 or $49, depending on where you buy it, you could do worse, but you could also do a little bit better. The HTC Inspire, for example, it's got a 4 or 4.3 inch touchscreen running Android. It's I'd have to say it's a far more capable device than this. It's got a lot more screen for about the same price. So again, consider the trade-offs. It's a tiny device you're getting, very compact, but there are a couple of caveats, I guess. So this has been a look at the HP Veer 4G for AT&T, and hope you've enjoyed it.